Hello everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the brand new Adidas Predator FT/FG in the Solar Energy colorway pack. Now, this is the brand new Predator that was replacing the Adidas Predator Accuracy, which was the outgoing model from 2023. This is the one that, is coming with the whole new naming system and the entirely brand new design to the whole Predator line. This one brings back some cool features, some cool memories. It has some interesting design features and also some other interesting things that I'll go over throughout this video. But first, I just want to start off with the box. As you can see, you have your traditional shoe box, which is kind of sad because with the OG Plus models, you used to get the drawer style box that you could just open up like this. You'll see the boots and the bag and everything that comes with it. But now they've gone back to the traditional shoe box, even though this is the top of the line Predator model that I have right here. Some other things to see: size 11 US, UK 10.5, Europe 45 and a third, or whatever that means. And you can see the colorway here: black, white, solar red. There's also some solar yellow as well, but you'll see that when I take the boots out of the box. Without further ado, let's get into this unboxing. By the way, I've taken out all of the plastic, all of the cardboard, all of the tags, all the paper packaging that they put inside the boots. So yeah, you're just going to see the raw boots straight up. But here we go. As you can see, first we have this little sheet, wear and care instructions, which are pretty cool. And now we have the boots themselves. Beautiful pair of boots. Absolutely beautiful. That's the left boot. This is the right boot. And then you have the Predator string bag, black. It says Predator across the top with red strings, or solar red strings. And another cool insight, you have this internal paper, but it says Predator on it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's that as well. Anyways, that's it for the box. It's time to get into the unboxing. First, I want to go over some basic facts about this Predator that you guys may not know, beginning with the price. The price of this boot is $380 Canadian, which, in my opinion, is insane because there are two other versions of this Predator. One which is $330 called the Predator Elite, and then you have another which I think is $340 or $330 as well, which is the Predator Elite LL, also known as the laceless version. So that means if you buy this FT model of the Predator Elite, you are paying an extra $50 just for a fold-over tongue. All that just for a fold-over tongue. Don't get me wrong, the fold-over tongue is really cool in my opinion, but to pay an extra $50, like, even Nike doesn't do that with their dynamic fit collar models that are more or less the same boot. The Superfly is still maybe $20 more expensive, $20 to $30 more expensive, but $50 for a fold-over tongue, that's kind of outrageous. But anyways, I figured since it's the top model and it's just, it's the one they're marketing the most, I might as well just get this one and see what it's like, especially because I don't have any boots that have a fold-over tongue, and I've never had a Predator that had a fold-over tongue either. In fact, I've never even owned a Predator. So this is a cool first experience to have. Now, beyond that, as I mentioned before, this is the 30th anniversary Predator that's being released. So if you guys don't know the history of the Predator first released in 1994. And so with it now being 2024, is the 30th year that these have been, or not these specifically, but the Predator name has been in use. You can see this mentioned here on some branding. You have the 30 on the heel tab right there. And then here on the tongue, it says since 1994, representing that the Predator's been around for 30 years. Additionally, if I take off this fold-over tongue, you can see it says right here, 30 as well, mimicking that 30 that's in the heel, and that's again signify that the boots have been around for 30 years, or the Predator name has been around for the last 30 years, and this year is going to be its 30th anniversary, which I think is a cool touch. Now, besides that, this is the replacement to the Adidas Predator Accuracy, and it takes the Predator in a new, interesting direction, because before we all were so used to Predators with the laceless model being the top model, and then you had your little, what do you call it, your rubber striking elements all over the top, but you had a laceless tongue through the center, or laceless collar or wrapping system, whatever you want to call it, through the center. So you had a lot more room to do like your laceless striking elements. But now you're going back to this tradition that people loved so much about the Predator. They loved the tongue, and they loved the just the laces, the power boot feeling that you got from the Predator, and they've gone back to it. which I think is a pretty cool design choice in my opinion, especially given how boots have been lately these days. But also, there's another thing to mention with the naming. So I mentioned that this is called the Predator Elite. Before, Adidas naming model was plus, point 0.1, point 0.2, point 0.3, and point 0.4. So now they're more or less copying Nike and like Puma by going with like words. I honestly wish they stuck with the point and the plus naming system because it was just unique and cool to them. But they've decided to go with basically this being the elite model. And because they have three different elite models, because they recognize that with the plus and point 0.1, oftentimes objectively the point 0.1 is a better boot than the plus model. So they're just calling them all elites at this point. And now you have this elite FT, which is essentially the top flagship model because it has the fold over tongue. FT stands for fold over tongue. Then you have Elite LL, which is the laceless version, what we would call the plus in the past. And then you have the elite version, which is just the regular version, no tongue, but still has the laces. So imagine this with no tongue. That's your top of the line, basic elite Predator, which I think it's whatever. Below that, I think you have, is it the Pro? Yes, you have the Predator Pro, you have the Predator League, and finally the Predator Club. So it's more or less the same naming system as Nike, except that where they have League, Nike calls it Academy instead. So yeah, with the new Predator, new naming system. But anyways, beyond that, I think it's time that I actually start to talk about the boots themselves and less about the different features and all the history and all that stuff. So I'm going to start out with the upper. This upper is something that we call, or well, not we, but Adidas calls Hybrid Touch 2.0. Now, if you're familiar with the previous Hybrid Touch upper, this is something that's been around for a very long time. First came out back in 2013, I believe, on the Predator LZ1, but it's been featured on many boots, including the 2014 Adi Zero, most notably. I think that was the best execution of it from what I've heard. And then the last generation Predator, the Accuracy, which had Hybrid Touch on it as well. Hybrid Touch is essentially a synthetic leather, which is pretty soft, but also has good structure, pretty good water repulsion, so it's not retaining a very strong amount of water. It's pretty lightweight, but also pretty soft and similarly feeling to leather, albeit not the real deal. Now with Hybrid Touch 2.0, they've only gone and made it softer, so they say. It's supposed to be softer, more malleable, more cushioned, just more fun to wear, more foot responsive, so it molds to the foot better. It just feels nicer on feet. And in hand, I can definitely say it has a matte-like feel to it, kind of like, I wouldn't say it feels anything like leather in my opinion, but it's interesting in the way that it feels matted. It also has like a kind of a grainy, a pseudo grainy finish to it. It's a very interesting upper in that regard. In hand, though, I can definitely say, like, without me nitpicking and everything, it's very soft and it feels very plush and comfortable to the touch. So I can only imagine that when you have these on feet, it's going to feel nice. Additionally, you have a bit of texturing on this side going into the three stripes, as well as some texturing down here, which I guess is just to add a little bit of extra grip and spin on the ball when you're using it. But the main feature that comes with this new Hybrid Touch 2.0 upper is the strike skin element. And you can see the branding right there. Strike skin is basically what they're going to call the rubber striking elements on the Predator Elite for this time. Last year, I think they called it high definition grip, so this time it's called strike skin. You basically have all these rubber fins placed specifically on the instep of the boot, and basically when you're going to shoot the boot or shoot the ball or pass the ball, curl it, whatever, these rubber grip elements are supposed to act on it and really create a lot of spin, swerve, really just giving you more manipulative control over the ball when you're using it, which I think is pretty cool. You have most of it on the upper, and I think some of it is actually covered by this tongue. Yeah, you have a section right here that's covered by the tongue. But to make up for that, on the tongue, they've also put some strike skin as well, right here. And you can see it's honestly a lot. You have some here, and then I think 5 fins down here. So you get a lot of coverage across that instep. It's more or less here all the way to here. All of that is just your strike skin area. But then on top of that, on this tongue, you also have an embossed rubber Adidas logo, which, while not the same as the strike skin, I think it will provide a decent amount of grip as well when you want to shoot or strike the ball. So that's a cool feature to have as well. And it just highlights the commitment to really generating a lot of swerve and adding a lot of grip to the upper of this boot. And additionally, with this tongue, as you can see, it says Predator along the strap. Now, the thing is, these Predator words are actually rubber themselves. So I think they might even provide a small bit of grip themselves, albeit not much because they're not nearly as big or as pronounced as the actual strike skin that's on the upper. But I think they'll do a good job of adding to the already impressive grip that this upper has. You will not get the same type of grip feeling that you would find on something like, well, honestly, its only competitor, the Nike Phantom GX, either the outgoing model or the current GX2/Luna 2, because those are more engineered into the entire upper, whereas this is just focused to one side. It's its own thing, and those are more sticky and waxy, whereas this is more grippy, rubbery to the texture. So, but I can definitely do a comparison video between the GX that I have and this to maybe see what the differences are. Anyways, moving on from that part of the upper, let's get into the heel area. The heel is very minimalistic in my opinion. You have a nice tall, you call this thing like a heel tab. Yeah, heel tab. That's what it's called. It's a nice tall heel tab with some reinforcement here with this Adidas diamond that's in the back. And then inside the heel itself, you have these pretty nice heel cushions. They're made with like a microfiber suede, but also have these grip segments or like grip dots on them that help add some grip to the actual sock of the football boot, or not the football boot, your sock when you're actually playing in them, which is a pretty nice benefit to have. You don't necessarily need to have grip socks in order to play with them. Additionally, inside, they pull out the insole. Insole is pretty basic, made from a single layer of white foam, pretty much. It says the sizings on the side here, 10.5, 11. It just has the Predator logo here with some black dots across. I guess these are also grip placements, I guess, to add grip, which is pretty nice as well. But yeah, apart from that, it's your basic insole. You're not really gonna get too much out of it. I'm just gonna put that back in here if I can get it back in. Jeez. There we go. Insole back inside the boot. And yeah, more or less, it's a pretty minimalistic heel area. You have a nice fly knit, or not fly knit, knit collar that's over here. Honestly, I'm a little worried about using these right now because I have a blister on my ankle on this side right here, and it's about at the same height as the actual collar, so I'm worried it's going to dig in and cause me some pain on that side of my ankle. But I'm not sure. We'll have to see whenever I actually try out these boots because I've been sitting on them for a while, not using them. But yeah, minimalistic heel area. And then you also have your external plastic heel counter, which is pretty cool. They didn't want to put it inside, I guess, to increase that, you know, bare bonesness of the actual heel area. But yeah, external plastic heel counter, which is pretty solid, pretty strong to the touch, and is also connected to the outsole, which is called the Control Frame 2.0. You can't really see the name, but it's right here. Let me see. Can you see it? No. It's really hard to see. It's in white, but it basically says Control Frame 2.0 right there. Then we have the sole plate, which is honestly one of the best looking sole plates I've ever seen. Honestly, up there with the Rashfords that I got the other day or the other time. But yeah, basically with this sole plate, they've completely redesigned it. As you know, on the accuracy, they were using the OG control frame from the Predator Edge, so it had that tungsten weight up here that did absolutely nothing, and it was a split sole design where you had like a stud plate back here and a stud plate here. The studs on that plate were a lot more aggressive because they were bladed or diagonal or whatever you want to call them. This is a lot more nuanced and more relaxed. You can see the studs themselves are triangles or tri-stars, which is very nice for just being able to twist and pivot, but also getting a good amount of bite when you're trying to push off or trying to sprint or whatever you want to do with them. But also, the studs themselves are kind of long, I can't lie. So you can see this stud is pretty long. This stud is pretty long. This one is very long. So it's going to be interesting to see how these perform when used on AG, which is what I'm going to be playing with. We're playing on most of the time period, I'd say, because it's winter where I am right now. So most of my fields aren't available to use soft ground on, or to even like go to the turf pitches as snow is covering them and all that. But yeah, studs pretty nice in my opinion. Very solid, very relaxed feel to them. You get one, two, three, 6, 7. Yeah, you get 11 studs, which is a good balance. I don't think you'll be getting too much stud pressure just because there's a balance of height within them. Some of them are taller, some of them are shorter. But then also in terms of flexibility, rigidity, responsiveness, I don't want to flex this too much, but this is pretty responsive, honestly. Like just flexing it like this. Pretty snappy, which is pretty nice. And then in the midfoot, I don't expect any sort of bend at all, just because of these two stiffener bars that are right here. It's peak. Like this is really, really stiff. So that's a nice sole plate to have, especially for someone like me who prefers something that's more responsive. And then obviously in terms of actual looks, like I said earlier, these are beautiful. Look at that iridescent finish that goes across the entire boot. It's absolutely beautiful. It's peak, as they would say. So yeah, it's a pretty solid sole plate package, and I honestly reckon it's probably better than what we've got with the previous Predator Accuracy or even Predator Edge, which was an absolute travesty of a football boot. Also, another design element to note is that if you get the laceless version or the regular elite version of this Predator, you won't get an iridescent finish, and the Predator logo is also much smaller. I think it's only in this area, whereas this one runs across the entire boot. And also with this Predator logo, I think the actual Predator word is underneath the sole plate or embossed into the sole plate, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's it for my general review or general overview, I'd say, of the Predator Elite fold over tongue. Such a hard name to say. Predator Elite fold over tongue. That's my general overview of the boots. So now we're just going to do a nice on feet, and I'll let you guys know how they fit and feel on feet. All right, yeah, guys. So we're at the field. We've got the boots on, and I can say these feel amazing. I said that about a lot of boots, but these are genuinely a really good fitting boot. I have a lot of space in my toe box, so my toes have some freedom to wiggle, which is really nice because I don't like to have my toes like getting scrunched up together. The midfoot is surprisingly not that narrow, or at least it doesn't feel that narrow. Again, I haven't really ran in the boots yet, so I can't be sure of what's going to happen. But yeah, it doesn't feel too narrow or too wide. It's a good accommodating fit. The heel is my biggest concern. I'm getting a bit of slippage, especially on my right boot for some reason. Maybe it's because I didn't tie the laces tight enough, but just I'm getting a lot of posterior lift every time this moves, which is really irritating, but that's something I have to deal with. Apart from that, the boots are pretty comfortable. The sole plate feels solid, comfortable on their feet. The stud pattern, I'm not getting any pressure, even though I have some long studs. They're a little noticeable in the heel area, but that's to be expected because the studs are the longest over there. Yeah, as you can see, sole plate looks pretty good in the light. That little iridescent effect it has. One thing I will say about these boots is they're really annoying to put on, and that's just because of this tongue. You try and lift it up to tie the laces, it's constantly falling down, which can be really irritating. But apart from that, it's no big deal. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get to the training session, see how these boots are. You guys will hear more about them as the weeks go by when I get my review out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing, this little on feet portion. Stay tuned for my next video. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.